Good day. This is the Eye of the Storm podcast with the big picture technical update for the NASDAQ 100 being recorded on Saturday, March the 2nd, 2024. I am going to continue to just reflect or concentrate on the NQ, which is the NASDAQ 100 futures market. That is the instrument that we choose to trade and within our trade room, and has been my primary focus. So I'm just going to basically focus on this. So big picture, let's open the chart back up. Basically don't need to go much below the daily again, but I'll just whip out to that weekly real quick. Excuse me. So we can see that I continue to look at the highs that were reached actually for the NASDAQ in November of 2021, and that was at 16,768 as the completion point for a cycle degree third wave. And that what we are remaining within is a cycle degree fourth wave correction. Now, within that cycle degree fourth wave, there'll be three waves of primary degree, which will be labeled A and B, which we're in the process of completing now, and then still a primary C wave to come. So let me drop down back to that daily. So what we're looking at is where we are within this particular move. So again, on October of 2023, that completed the primary A wave, and that low basis the March contract was 11,289. So from there, we began the primary B wave. Now, inside that primary B wave are going to be three waves labeled of intermediate degree labeled A, B, C. So there's intermediate wave A, and that would have been in July of 2023. Wave B completed in October of 2023. So from that point, from the October 2023 low, we have been tracing out an intermediate degree C wave that will then complete that primary B wave. So within intermediate wave C, it will consist of five waves of minor degree, where we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 are complete. So in that larger picture, we are within minor wave 5, which will then, once we complete minor wave 5, we'll then be completing intermediate wave C and that primary B. So you see how that walks itself back up the ladder. Now, bringing this down to the 4-hour chart, we can see that within the intermediate C wave, we have five waves of minor degree, and they're labeled here in this saddle brown color. And right now we have minor degrees 1, 2, 3, and 4 complete. Minor wave 4 completing back in January, the beginning of January of 2024. So for this year, the progress being made to the upside is within the context of a minor fifth wave up. That minor fifth wave will consist of five waves of minute degree, and right now, that minor fifth wave via the minute degree is forming an expanding diagonal triangle. So this is all kind of finishing in a diagonal triangle up. Now, I'm going to break it down out of this, or just open this up so we can see a little bit more clearly what we got going on. So far via the 4-hour chart, you can see that we have minutes 1, 2, 3, and 4 complete. Minute wave 4 completed on February the 21st. So we are within the minute fifth wave. And what would that fifth wave consist of? Let me take one step back, discussing minor wave 5 being that diagonal triangle. What that then suggests is that all of the waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, will form three wave patterns. So out of waves 1, 3, and 5, they will form three waves, which will be labeled ABC, but the structure will be what we consider a zigzag. And what that suggests, or what that means, is that waves A and C will be 5-wave structures. Wave B will be a series, in this case, of 3-wave structures. Either it's just a straight 3-wave or a series of 3 waves. So where we are, building up, we have minute wave 1, minute wave 2. So we have an ABC, 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 and these are zigzags. And then we have ABC, wave 4, which kind of presented its own challenges. And we start again on a 5th wave up. And it will form an A, a B, and a C. And it has presented its challenges. So now we're going to come down to the 1-hour chart, and we're going to take a look at what happened right inside of all of this. Now, it truly is a wonder, because for a while, this was 1, 2, and I had the 3 up here and looking for this 4th wave. And it really kind of continued to be considered a 4th wave until we finally could figure out the pattern. What was the count? What was the labeling that was going to come inside here? Because the alternate view that we continue to run side by side was that wave A completed at this high. So in other words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 completed, and that this was going to be the B wave. So these are minuet of the minute. So minuet wave A of minute wave 5, minuet wave B of minute wave 5. And then it gets even smaller. These are sub-minuet waves. And then we had to go down inside each one of these to work out exactly what was going on. Now, this is the beauty of the work that my colleague Sascha Goring does. Now, Sascha went in, and I'm going to be able to pull that up. And just give me one moment while I bring this over, and I just begin to open this up so we can get and look inside. So if we look here, we can see the W, X, Y, and then an X, and then a Z wave. Now, if we look at this, this was a straight ABC for the W. Then we had a straight ABC for the X, and then it starts to get very, very complicated. So you can see we had an ABC, we started another W, X, Y for the Y, and then we had another X, and then this Z wave put in its own double, ABC, X, ABC, X, ABC. So we had a double ABC to form wave Z. We had basically a double ABC to form wave Y. And we had 2 intervening X waves. So the whole pattern in and of itself was a double. So it is very complicated. And I am grateful to Sascha's work and the detail that he put in and did come up with the count. So together, I was already labeling this B, but I was unable to kind of get into the detail. And Sascha broke it down for us. And I'm very grateful for that because it cleared it up. It made it okay on an Elliott basis. It put it together so we could really come in and say with confidence that the B wave, the A wave is there and the B wave is there, and we're in the C wave. Now, we did this prior to the number coming out. So we had, or actually just after, so prior to Friday, we had finished this, and then we were talking about that if this is done, then we're in wave 1. We're in wave 1 of the C. C waves will be 5, right? So now, where are we within this whole picture? So once again, thank you, Sascha, for putting the A and the B. We're within the C wave up. And the C wave, it is a minuet wave C will complete minute wave 5, which in turn will complete minor wave 5, which in turn will complete intermediate wave C, which in turn will complete the primary B wave. So you can see how we're walking up the ladder, and you can see how the stepping stones, the building blocks of Elliott, come together to finish what we have been counting since October of 2022. So we're getting close to this finishing move. What comes next? As I have been discussing, a primary C wave decline. Now, let me just re-emphasize this. Since we're talking about the big picture, I can't estimate on where, we're going to talk about where I believe this will come in, but we're looking at the strong possibility that we might get ourselves past or up to that 1.382. Even if we come in between, which I'm imagining that's exactly what's going to happen, that we'll come in between 1.236, which we actually broke above on Friday, that will come in between them by the time we're done with minor wave 5 and minute wave 5. But we have to consider that we could come up as close or get to that 1.382 for primary wave B. We've now exceeded the primary wave B 1.236, which held firm for quite some time. We broke it on Friday. It remains possible then that we'll run up and test or reach the 1.382. I think I'm going to show you again because I'm going to go back down. We have a big enough cluster that we're likely going to get in between them. More importantly, what I want to discuss is because now we're giving confirmation to the irregular B wave reaching the Fibonacci levels. So as we then work our way towards where can we expect primary wave C to come back down to? Well, I'll tell you, what I would look at is we would take it to the following. We would come back to the A, we'd go up to the B, and if we said that B wave was going to come here, and I'm just going to give this as a very, very early look, simply because the Fibonacci that would then come into play because it reached 1.236 or 1.382 is that C wave down usually or most often will come in at 1.618 times the length of wave A. So let's take a very early peak, 1.618. And that's saying it gets up to 19,000. So before I thought, okay, if it came in below 1.236, we still probably could live with the flat. But we come back to this area of wave A, which is 10,484 basis the March contract. These will all be updated as each time we roll out in a contract. We have to. But right now, basis the March. So again, 1.618 though is 89.75. So you can see now we're still discussing, as I did way back in October of 2022 and several points from that level, that we more than likely are going to get a sub 10,000 move before we then turn around again in a cycle degree fifth wave, and that will be again a run, a strong rally, strong bull move back up to, again, wherever this tops out. We will exceed it in cycle wave 5. So now, just to kind of on this big picture for the NASDAQ, while I'm feeling more confident in that the preferred count that I've been using, and I'm going to come back down, which is that it's a primary B wave, is fairly likely. But I'll tell you what starts to toss it around a little bit when we have this type of a move. This is Friday, folks. We're plus 200 move. And you can see we went right past. We went right past and closed above that 1.236. So we exceeded it far enough that it basically takes it out. If anything, we can look for support on the way back down. But more important, I don't think that wave three, so if this is 1, 2, I don't think wave three is complete. If anything, I got 1, 2, and this is 3. That was just straight up. And again, plus 200 plus, right? NASDAQ closed up on Friday, plus 238, and that was on a downtick. So it really was up almost 250 points on Friday. And primarily on the back of stocks like Meta, NVIDIA. NVIDIA closes up $31 on Friday. We had Tesla wrestling with up or down. We had a lot of stocks inside. Netflix cruising above 600. Meta cruising above 500, which had everything to do with that Friday expiration. Now, whether it is sustainable, well, we're going to find out. I would suspect that it is because I'm still looking for higher levels. So what does that suggest for these internals? That suggests that NVIDIA, 850 to 900. And you know that now there are going to be a bunch of updates put out on, oh yeah, they're upping their estimates, upping their price targets. They have no choice. They rerun the model and up the price target. We're going to have, well, where's Meta? Meta's now, closed above 500. What's next? 550, 600? So again, here we have, what's going to work against that? Apple closed down $1. Came off its lows, but it's below 180. So is Apple headed to 160? So that could be, okay, Apple tossing, right? Upsetting that apple cart, so to speak. So we do have a lot of things going on. We have a lot of things going on globally. We have so many things that are just sitting out there waiting for resolution, hopefully to the neutral side, to keep this going, to keep everything on an equal footing, to keep the hope for a better outcome for the world than what could happen. But there's enough sitting out there waiting that it wouldn't take much. There's triggers, there's catalysts, that all it takes is that little bit of a trigger and it's done, and it just kind of goes. The latest one that I'm reading about is that there's always been this friction between the United States and Taiwan, and China over Taiwan. Well, now we're hearing about this talk. It's like, okay, well, a lot of the things from AMD and NVIDIA and the chip market is China and Taiwan. If China causes any problems here, it disrupts this production, disrupts the flow of chips in and out of Taiwan. Well, what's it going to do for NVIDIA? Is it still going to be worth $850 or $820? What's it going to do for AMD, which we saw AMD up 10, break above 200? Wow. And again, one last thing I want to tell you about the market and this rally. I'm continuing to look for a volume surge. I want to see this like this total capitulation. And okay, we're done. I can't hang on anymore. And boom, we get a volume surge. The futures markets have not actually been all that stellar in terms of producing, like the S&P. I want to see 2 million contracts trade. And in the NASDAQ, I want to see upwards of 750 million contracts in the mini. And we're not even getting there. And just in a lot of the stocks, we're not seeing capitulation one way or the other. So in Apple, I want to see a day of 60 million or 50, 70 million on a down day. That's capitulation. That's like, okay, we're not going up anymore. We're going down. And it'll have a harder effect on the stock. Again, the same deal. If we're going to hit these highs, hit this top, I need to see NVIDIA kind of coming in with much higher volumes. And we're not seeing that. So I don't see this finish. And we might get it. It might happen next week, but that's something else I'm adding in and looking for. But now we need to add in, okay, what could be a catalyst to rolling this thing over and producing a major, oh no, look what just happened. We need to make our adjustments. One would be China goes in, starts something in Taiwan. China starts to make its move on Taiwan. China starts to threaten Taiwan more visibly, more, whatever, how it's going to unfold. What also we have Putin saying that if the West decides to be supporting of and enters into the battle of the Ukraine, that he's now threatening the West with nuclear weapons. What happens there? What happens if this person happens to just go off one day? What happens if he steps into one of the Eastern European countries that are members of NATO? He can draw NATO into the war. And these are just what ifs. But when you're thinking about it, it's sitting out there. It's sitting out there and it's potential. What if he makes this bigger push to something silly in Ukraine, forcing NATO to come in? That escalates the whole thing, and now we have a whole different situation. So you can see that we're racing higher within a very, very fragile market. Fragile because we're not seeing different things like which are going to spell, oh, this is all just the beginning, folks. First of all, we've been watching this thing happen now since October of 2022. Getting a little long in the tooth, you might say. So, but anyway, let's kind of go over some of these fibs of what we're looking at here. So right now for wave 3, right, this is my hourly chart, but I'm going to bring it back down so we can look at it on the 15-minute chart. Here is for wave 3. We reached that 100%. That was at 18,366. So in just terms of wave 3 as compared to wave 1, we reached 100%. So, and actually just a titch higher. So I actually would just like to see that just a bit higher. Not full blown to the 1.618, but it could. Now it could. Now this is where I was talking about that we have the possibility. If we do another 200-point day, we're sitting up here at 1.618 at 18,575. All right. We got up to 18,366 on Friday. Actually, the high was 18,370. That was Friday. 570 is only 200 points higher. Okay, what if we do that again? We can finish wave 3 up here. Do a 4 and a 5. What does that do? It really pulls in this next, see how they all kind of gang up here? So let's kind of go over this. Right now, trend line intersects where we are up about 18,800. So this is just continues to rise, and it's expanding, and it's continuing to expand. Now, I can add, and I likely will, a couple of additional. Once I get a wave 3, I'll connect 1 and 3. And once I get a wave 4, I can connect 2 and 4. So we can continue to form the triangle. Maybe even the triangle within the triangle. So there are additional. When I get 3 done and we get a 4 in, then I can check wave 1 against 4. And look at wave 1 was pretty decent size. So this is 18,161 and this is 17,820. So it's 300 points. So no matter where we kind of come back down to, we have another 300. Where are we looking? This is not unrealistic, to be honest with you. Not anymore. And it would fulfill similar to what the S&P can fulfill, and that's at 1.382. And again, as I just demonstrated, if we have those levels, and I want to take that number down. I think I showed it, and it's not. I don't want to leave it up there. Yeah. Oop. Let me do that again. Let me go out to my weekly. This one, the 1.618. I'm going to remove that, get that out of there. Now go back over here. And let's take a look at our upsides. So right now what we have, here's trend lines as, heading higher, C, A to C. Here we have the larger expanding triangle. And now just putting in trend lines for what this looks like from here. Wave 4 connected to wave B, heading higher. So we can see where we're breaking trend lines on the way up or we're breaking trend lines on the way down. So wave 3, we've reached the 100% at 18,366. We got up to 70. 76 or 77 is actually 1.618. Let me go back out so I can tell you what it's of. It's 1.618 of minor wave 5. Right, so this minor wave 5 out here. Yeah. So that it's a minor degree. And what we have as well going in there is we have minute wave 5, 1.618, 18,527. So that one we also have. These are our upper levels, but we're looking for where wave 3 can complete. Well, we have all the up here, 1.618, 18,675. Then we have the C wave, 100%, where equal wave A, 18,597. So you see, it starts to get a little complicated as to whether the 100% is really going to work, or are we going to go to 1.618, which is 19,075. Where are we then? We're up into that next cluster. And we puncture the top trend line. Not uncommon for a finishing triangle. We go up, reject, come back. Not uncommon. In fact, remember, I'm looking for this thrust, this capitulation, this like grabbing for that final brass ring up there. So this all can happen. And I would not be surprised, because what I'm looking for to finish this larger primary B wave. And so we might get it. You're going to see how the fibs continue to line up. We have fibs all the way up, minute wave 5, 2.618, 19,240. So if we start to really break here, and we're still within a third, then we're going to start to line up here, and it's going to be very high. Then again, 1.618 for that primary C wave. So we'll be able to build our picture. But right now, still got upside to do. That's the best that I'm going to come up with, is that we still have upside to do. I still believe we have 1, 2. We're just finishing the 3 of wave C. And then we have a 4 and a 5. And these levels are still in play. Okay, I'm going to finish up there again, saying thank you to Sascha for working out this detail. Also, just another one. We continue to build on the trade room that I shifted over and moved to Discord. So the trade room is now in Discord and continues. Our monthly charge is $2.99. But again, I stand by what we look to do, and that is to earn our trade and pay for that trade room pretty much from day one and then each day subsequently. So so far, I've been able to do that. And so the trades that I do, you'll see my trades, and you'll see exactly what I'm doing, and you'll see that it is earning at least $300. And we meet each day for 2 hours, and we start at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that would be 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then it goes to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 8 a.m., Pacific. And if you're in Europe, first of all, Sascha is based in Germany. So we have representation from the Central European time zone. And for those that may, from Europe, that choose, they would like to have somebody over in their own time zone, you do. And again, it's open membership. So previously I kept my trade room limited to 10 people because it was more of education. We continue to do education, but as it grows, then we would mute everybody as they came into the trade room just to keep the conversation and the focus on trading. Right now, I'm still using an open mic, but we have open. If you have an interest, you can either leave a comment or you can email me, Michael at mjf1partners.com, or you can go to www.logicalsignals-trading.com and then look at the trade room tab. And there you're able to join the trade room should you want to. Again, the cost is $2.99 a month. And then you will receive the verification from Discord, and then you'll have access, and then we'll begin. All right, I'm going to finish it there. Now, the next Elliott Wave update will actually be on Monday, March the 4th. I will be looking at the Globex opening tomorrow. Should something very strange happen, I will make a quick update. Otherwise, the next Elliott Wave update, Monday, March the 4th.